Yo, what's going on, guys? Chris Bond here, Overtime Athletes. Deeper level video for you guys today, all about mastering the L drill. Teamed up with my fellow coach, Coach Usama from 5-4 Performance. Amazing coach. He brought some of his guys down to work some of the combine stuff for the actual CFL. Same test you'll see in some of these showcases and in the NFL. Guys do it at their pro day. This is particularly a test where you essentially have a right angle at 5 yards apart and then another 5 yards where the athlete has to go touch the line, come back, touch the line, bend the corner in a curvilinear fashion, break down, decelerate, full 180 turn around a cone, and then finish with another right angle, a curvilinear sprint. Now, depending on the team, you know, this is kind of one of those drills that doesn't get as much love, especially if you watch the NFL Combine. However, depending on the position you play and the actual team that you know, like the organization, some coaches weigh this drill heavier than others, right? Just like some weigh a 10-yard over the entire 40, depending on what position you play. Some like to see the shuttle more than they like to see the L, and some like to see the L more than the shuttle. For instance, if you're a defensive end or anything on defense, they want to know you can bend that corner. And this is one of those drills that kind of lets them know exactly what we're doing. So we get into, you know, kind of the most efficient way that we could show it. Obviously, you know, when it comes to these combine drills, you start off with a template. You start off with like, here's the most efficient way to do it from, it's just physics, right? And everything's about efficiency. They give us the test, so you're trying to hack and beat the test. And so after we show it, then what we do is we base it on the athlete's abilities. Not just their abilities from a standpoint of their physicality, but also their anthropometrics. Because what you'll see in some of this is some of these guys need to get adjusted based off their length, based off their ability to decelerate, you know, just based off their general overall abilities. So we're gonna get into how we teach it, and then we're gonna make minor adjustments to these guys, but we try to go from an all-encompassing standpoint of getting them to understand the concept, because I'm a firm believer of when the athlete understands the bigger picture, right, the box, the picture on the Lego box, right, and sees the finished product, it's easier for you to then construct and start to put those things together. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Shout out to Coach Osama from 5-4. And yeah, enjoy. The biggest thing that we can go over today for the L drill is just getting some of the concepts done. My biggest thing when teaching any of these is like, let's get real granular on like, here's the steps, right? Here's the exact steps, let's rehearse it, let's make it the most efficient we can. But then also as an athlete, like you have to take a step back and understand the concept that we're trying to get. Because for some guys, things could be a little bit different and they can run amazing time. The reason why you got to understand the concept is because you want to perform fast. You guys all play ball, right? If I fucking study my playbook and I nail it down and I'm getting so granular in the playbook without taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, right? I get so caught up that I'm not even fucking paying attention to what the guy's doing or that guy motions differently. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, take a step back. Don't be so close to the trees that you can't see the forest. You get what I'm saying? So understand the concepts, and then let's continue to break it down and get real granular with it. Because you might find something where it's like, and also too, when guys start to learn test, they almost out-coach themselves. Depending on what kind of athlete you are, you might take it so literal that it's throwing you off of something. You get what I'm saying? Because you didn't hit this, now all of a sudden you mess up the rest of the test because you mess up one little thing in here. In all things, it's just like Miles Davis said with playing music. Learn the keys, learn the notes. When you hit that stage, throw that shit out and just play. You get what I'm saying? And play fast. So let's go over it. I know Coach went over a couple things with you. I know he went over start with you. I'll run through them. We can run a couple. First thing I want to do is my first 5, I want to get as efficient as I possibly can. Efficient is what's the fastest line from here to that line that I could possibly get, right? Obviously, I'm gonna line up right here, right? I like to cheat just a shade inside and not hug it too much, because you're gonna have this whole room to come back and then be able to hit this right angle. You guys obviously understand, if I'm coming here and I touch this, when I make this right angle, that's a much sharper turn. I want to be bowed out coming from a different angle. Again, from the start, shade over about a half a yard. We want that right foot because you're timing steps here. Now, depending on the size of the guy and the anthropometrics, we're gonna be between 3 and 4. So I wanna hug this line as hard as I possibly can, right? 1, 2, 3, right? 3 if you can, and it's 3 big steps. They're almost like bounds. They're almost like bounds. You don't want to be choppy here. I just want to get to this line from point A to point B as fast as I possibly can. Now, the way that we usually go, if it's your third or your fourth, right? That one, when you're going to turn, you have to pivot. You have to immediately start to pivot this leg. You don't want your hips to be here, right, facing this way when I'm going back this way. So I have to start with the pivot and start shifting my hips, getting this leg around in a swing step, just like he taught with the 5-10-5, right? So that I set myself up to come back. Does that make sense to you guys? So I want to be able to get to this line, get my shins going back in the angle I'm going, having my hips already set up, and it all starts with this step right here. It could be 45, it could be whatever. Again, you guys are athletes. You're gonna naturally do this. You're gonna naturally do this. However, just like with anything, we could practice the test just like we practice a free throw. Boom. I could practice the skills over and over again. The more reps you get at it, the more reps you perform. You can't, even if it's at like 50, 60%, the more you train this pattern, the more you train first 5, back 5, the better you're gonna do when you go to do it. So if you could get 1,000 reps in from here till then, now not messing up the training, right? I'm not saying 100% reps. I'm just saying the more you ingrain it here, right, and in the body, the better you're gonna get at it. It's just like if I told you guys, hey, from now till the next 2 months, I want you to learn how to throw a ball lefty, right? What are you gonna do? I'm gonna throw as many fucking reps as I can, especially if something's on the line. You get what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of repping, right? We said we're gonna set up here, pivot, bang. Again, bounds, big steps. Big steps. We don't want to take anything short, and I don't want any wasted motions. Again, the common theme with all these tests is efficiency. I want to be as efficient as I can. Pivot, I get here, right? I'm dead in line with where I was lined up. Now I'm set back up to come back here. Depending on how you guys turn, right, regardless, I'm making a triangle, okay? So I'm coming, boom, and I'm coming back to make a triangle. 1, 2, you're gonna set up. It's 1, 2, and then your third is this swing step, right? That's what you teach. Now I'm about a yard and a half from where I originally set up. Doing the same thing I just did. You're gonna turn your hips as you do this. It just looks like a big bound and a turn of the hips to get this here. Again, swipe the line. Another key point that I'm gonna have you guys focus on. The more that you keep your eyes locked in on that line, the better off your feet and hips are gonna be. If you're focused on your steps and you're not staring at that line, you're more liable to fuck up, okay? So make sure that you put your eyes on that line, because you might be thinking 3, 4, but you might be early if you're not looking and locked in on that line, or you might be late and now you gotta just mess your steps up. That I've seen guys do when they're not locked in on that line, and then it throws their whole shit off, and then the rest of their run is shitty. It's not fast, because now immediately when you go to do it, if you mess up a 3-4 or 3-3 or whatever your steps are, right, and you mess it up in game time, it's gonna throw off the rest of your race because your mind immediately is like, I fucked up. So getting back to this, triangle here. Now, when I go to approach this cone, again, it's just physics. I'm approaching this from a lot, I can take that turn way more aggressive. The angle is now went from a right angle where I have to really decelerate around that turn to whatever this angle is, right? Now I'm approaching this angle. Now I'm coming and you take a vertical, so you take that one
vertical,
out.
like we're blocking a field goal, and then we're starting
and then
to
bending.
round.
This yard within here, however you bend, some guys bend really well, right? Your defensive ends, they do it all the time and they take a very hard curvilinear run. Some of our skill guys, they can curve. It's a different style than linear speed. Your legs have 2 different principles when you take a curve, right? So one inside leg is going to be your stabilizer. Your outside leg is the thing that's providing horsepower. So inside leg is stabilizing outside. Every guy does it a little bit differently, right? The more aggressive you can get, the better. If you're not there, that's completely fine. You can continue to practice it and elevate it, right? Or it's just knowing your capabilities, you know, as far as that. If you can get very aggressive and take this, boom, take that one and then hard, you don't want it to look like you're planting, boom, and then coming. It's a bend, right? But you are sticking this outside leg a little bit outside center of mass, which I believe that's all we're really trying to do, is when we approach this, foot goes outside center of mass. So I mean, you're bending it, but you're not keeping it tight. You're being able to put your foot in the dirt and make that turn. It's still a curvilinear run though, right? Still a bend. The only other thing that I'll teach there on that corner is anything curvilinear. When you put the crown of the head, whichever side you're going, crown of the head into the turn, the body will follow, okay? If my head is upright, right, what you'll see guys do is it usually throws them off balance, the torso's upright, and you'll see this arm swing out, okay? And so if like they try to take it too much and you got too much horsepower coming into this turn, too much speed, right? And now you're trying to ask your body to be able to bend it and you don't have that head into it, what happens is if it's upright, you're gonna start seeing this arm flail, inefficient, it's gonna slow you down. Does that make sense to you guys? So when you take that turn and you go to bend, just think about I'm putting my head into it, right, as I go. After I take this, I'm attacking. You don't bow out, you attack, right?
Yeah, we attack the cone. We're trying to get tight to it.
This is where you're playing wide receiver, right? So I'm trying to get around this as fast as I can. I still have to hard accelerate here. So from here, as soon as I make that, I feel comfortable, hard acceleration, tacking inside of this cone, okay? Once I get here, boom, break down, bang, bang, and then I can start to bow out slightly. Again, this is gonna be dependent on the guy. Skill guys can take it a little bit tighter. Some guys, they're gonna leak energy out. We don't wanna take a huge one. In fact, this wall might work to our advantage where I'm not taking a huge, but it doesn't mean that it'll be a slower time if you come out here. As you come out here and bow it, right? Now I'm taking, I wanna be as sharp as I can on this cone. Right? I don't want to be way out here. Again, you're just making the race longer. That's all we don't want to do. So I want to be able to come attack the inside here and then finish. And where you finish is going to be different, again, bending on where the guy bends. So you're bending a right, you're bending a left, same shit, right? But depending on if you're a skill athlete, if you could bend well, then you're gonna come through somewhere. Do you teach anywhere specific?
I teach just closer to this one just so that we can finish the curve.
As far as you can.
Not as far, but we're getting within a foot of this goal.
Cool. Naturally, it's gonna be midline to here over. Do you tell them to shoot for that?
No, just like we wanna get, with that curvilinear angle being the way it is, you're just gonna naturally end up within like 1 foot of this one. What we don't wanna do is force ourselves to get back here.
That's all. Same bend that we did. Remember, we just said that taking this angle, it's the same thing on the opposite side. That's all it is. The biggest thing that I can reiterate off of that is, A, eyes first on the line are gonna set your feet up, right? As you practice those steps, it's a matter of pivot, swing, right? And then I'm coming back. Again, can't stress enough if we're practicing today, even if we're doing it at like 75%, 50%, it's a matter of like, lock in exactly where you're gonna do until that hand touches. That's why I made that thing about baseball. It's like, it's not just keeping your eye on the ball when it's up there, right? It's watching that in until you make that contact, right? So it's the same thing here. It's like, I don't look at the line and then take my eyes off of it. I keep my eye on the line until I'm going to the next thing. And then I immediately whip that head around. So if I'm going on this first one, bang, boom, immediately I'm finding my spot. Whatever it is, you're gonna have a line there. So I wanna, like if you could lock in on a blade of grass, right? If you got that kind of vision, lock right in on that specific thing until you come in and you hit that. Everything else as far as your steps, all of that, some guys repeat it to themselves. For the most part, it should already be ingrained in you. It should already be those 3 steps. It should already be bang, 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 and then I'm taking off. Let's go ahead and start by breaking down 5-5, okay? So we'll just line up nice and easy, put your hand in the dirt. Again, pull back a little bit of the intensity. I know it's tough. Go just hard enough where you can hit your steps that you've been practicing. They've all been practicing their first 5. Perfect. Go just hard enough so it doesn't throw off your steps. I don't need 100 right now because we want to get through some repetitions, but if it's 75, 80 where it doesn't throw off your rhythm and timing, right? Because if you go slow enough, you're probably gonna have to take an extra step. You get what I'm saying? So just go fast enough to your speed. Do you guys have any questions of what I just went over from a blanket standpoint?
So what type of turn is better over there? But you kind of answered, you said there's more of a wide receiver turn, right? So it's like...
So great question. I usually like to see how athlete moves to then kind of suggest. So I'll sometimes have a guy line up and I'll see how he decelerates and is able to get around versus a guy who holds a little bit more muscle, right? If he needs to take a little bit longer, more powerful steps as opposed to chop, right? I kind of base it off that athlete. Most of the time, my biggest thing that I look at on that is I don't want you to run, if you have to run 5 yards, I don't want you to run 7. You get what I'm saying? So everything is about making it as efficient, but you also have to, on this side, is take the capabilities of the athlete. You get what I'm saying? So the biggest thing is when you come out of here and you get linear, you gotta attack that inside shade of that cone as much as you can. Some guys plan for the turn and come way out here to come inside, and some will attack it too much, right? Where they just completely almost decelerate to a fault and slow down way too much. It depends on your ability to decelerate, but also accelerate from how much you decelerate. Because if I come to a dead stop, I don't want you slow here. I want you still moving, bang, 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 and then I take whatever turn I have to get around that thing. Because if I tell you, hey, complete wide receiver stop, and say for instance, you're getting out the hole is a little bit slow, now we just slowed you down. You know what I mean? So do what you have to do. And also too, guys, it's gonna be a little bit different when you put cleats on, you're on turf, and you're actually wearing the shoes that you're gonna wear.
You'll see that when we get to the field.
This is a little bit faster for like, say a 40, like a turf like this, or even the turf out there is pretty good. But you wanna kind of mimic. You know, I don't know if you guys are doing this on grass. You'll wanna find,
no, it'll be like similar to Skyway.
Similar to Skyway,
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah.
So you wanna have, and from here on out, right? I know some agents will give their guys shoes and specific for the 40, specific for, you wanna wear the shoes that you feel most comfortable in, and you wanna wear them for the exact test that you're going from here out. So if you're doing your vertical, if you're doing your broad, if you're doing your 40, whatever shoes it is that you're doing, from here on out, you should be practicing in those shoes. Don't change anything up, and also like plan that into your day-to-day. I know he'll walk through a mock with you. So half yard, let's run a couple. Let's go ahead and first 5-5. Focus on the eyes. You guys on your own run those steps, and then we'll go from there, and you'll start to see how, you know, how your feet and how your hips are moving. Everything here is about, again, big steps and flipping the hips at each turn before you get to that cone.
Start again for us, Tristan. So it's that same mistake. It's that inside hand. It's got to stay off the ground, right? There you go. Inside. Good. What? You don't need to do the whole thing. I just didn't want to stop him while he was there. Just the first 5, and then work back up. So once you've hit this, boom, just kind of jog out of it, and you're good.
Good. Bring back your back foot. I know it's on this, but you could come in. So you're about 90 degrees, so like 1 foot, right? And then you could kind of turn it in here. So for this purposes, I'm just focused on going just straight. So I can bring that leg in just a little bit closer. I'm not as wide, that's all. I notice you like to do that when you jump too, but the funny thing is when you jump, you bring your feet in anyway. That's your power point, right? So you naturally already do it. You're just used to being a little bit more spread. So when you're coming and I'm going straight, I'm just focused on just everything right here. So go about 1 foot, 90 degree, and turn that toe forward, roughly. Yes, sir.
Hey, watch that inside hand, yeah?
So even if I'm 5'10", if you come down, especially if you can bend and you can decelerate well, again, we teach that shin angle coming off these turns. It's such a stupid thing for you to think about. Like, it's so easy for you to put this hand down, right? But it's just this one. You gotta focus on just that one. Cleaner, way cleaner, way cleaner. Here we go again. Good. Again, you're just going there and you're stopping there. So if you think more bound than I'm running, it's actually faster. Let me see if I can kind of recreate the difference. So if I'm here, boom, right? And I go bang, 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 right? As opposed to bang, bang, bang. It's almost like it's almost like I'm reaching. You still have to hit your timing and everything, but it's almost like a quick bound out of it. And because that last step, you're almost jumping into it. Again, this is counterintuitive to how you play ball. You play ball, it's bang, bang, and I'm making my turn, right? This is bang. You get what I'm saying? Like, because you're going on that turn. You're almost jumping into that turn. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you're like over embellishing the hip turn. You did it the first one, but you corrected the second one. You guys are running into your steps. You're getting about here and my hips haven't even started moving yet. So imagine I have a rod through my waistline, right? It's a stick sticking out on both sides. I want to see, right, that step when you get there, it's already turning by the time I'm touching this line. And after this, I hit this with my hand, eyes go immediately back there, immediately flip. So it's more or less the hips, because if you crowd this line too much, and if I'm not already moving my hips a yard away from this line, I'm fucking myself up for this turn. You get what I'm saying? So it's almost like a bounce, so it's like that bang, bang, and I'm already getting into it. I'm already starting to flip my hips. I'm close enough. That's why we practice steps, because I know my timing, I know where I'm at. I think this might be a little bit short, because it feels like it to me. Because I think I was doing 1, 2, bang. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like a 1, 2, your third, fourth is your swing. Is he taking an extra step or am I tripping?
No. 1, 2, 3, and then fourth one is the turn. Yeah. No, he's good.
I feel like he's so long.
He could do it.
He's forcing himself to shorten his stride.
Yeah, we could try it in 3 for him. Big dude. So 1, 2, and then the turn step. Yeah, switch this up for you to try to make it more efficient. Go out of your 40 stance. So what would it be? It'd be left foot forward, right? Right hand down. Okay, so for this one though, what you're gonna do is you're not gonna take 4 steps. So it's not gonna be 1, 2, half turn, full turn. For you, it's gonna be, you're in your left foot forward. So it's gonna be 1, half turn, full turn.
Big explosive.
That first step got to take you all the way out here.
Like you're lunging.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Yeah, dog.
Yeah, he's got to do it like that.
Yeah, because it just, to me, especially use that power. Use that horsepower, you know what I mean? Get that horsepower and take that. It's your call.
No, I like that. Yeah.
I think he's there
3,
too.
yeah, these two got to do it 3.
Before I wasn't thinking bounds, but when I'm thinking bounds, I'm able to get there much.
Okay, yeah.
Stick to full. Yeah, you got it.
And here's the other thing, when you slow it down, again, we just say from point A to point B. When you do it like that, right, it might feel, you're not moving as fast, but you're efficient, and from point A to point B on the watch is faster. So that's all we're looking for. You get what I'm saying? You're beating a test now at this point. We're not playing football. You know what I mean? So that's what we're looking for. Not bad. I know he's not with cleats, so it's a little bit tough in here. That's not bad. It's just I got to get your hips turned faster.
Like sooner in the
Sooner. You're coming in hot, and you're still right here. You're not already doing it. So I don't know if it's I'm trying to look. It's an extra step, but I almost want you to like start flipping your hips about because you got a lot of force coming this way. Way better, way better. You didn't get this leg around a little bit. You kind of came here. It looked like he came here, or was his foot back? Because he came straight.
It was behind him for sure.
It was behind him?
Yeah.
So
that's why he had to kind of pause before he turned.
Overcompensate.
I think it came from the start. On this one compared to the last one, you just shot straight up. So the first step didn't set you up to have an efficient change of direction on the next two. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why I think it was coming from.
Yeah.
So go again, bro. Go again.
And remember, just come, like when you flip, like you're coming to me. Yeah. I know your natural reaction is like, I could come straight down line, right? But like we're setting up that next one.
So hey, just like you thought, you sit back into your hip a little bit more like you worked on with Ben, just so you can explode out that first step, okay?
Take those big steps like you got.
Sit back into your hip, big drive.
Doug.
Punch, punch, there it is. Missed it a little bit. Yeah.
Good eyes on that one, and your head was completely down when you ran this whole way. You gotta turn from there and get your eyes exactly where you wanna go. But we gotta practice that, because you still got your legs still a little bit back.
Yeah.
So you gotta get that bang. You gotta let that thing travel. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like I'm jumping into the turn.
Boom, boom, boom.
Not bad, but look where you landed. You gotta stretch that out, and you gotta get your eye and head back immediately. I'm watching your guys' eye on this turn, and all of you have just had your head down, kind of like, okay, I touched, and then it's down. So it's like, once I get here, boom, right? I gotta immediately know I'm coming back this direction. I gotta come back this direction right here. I'm cheating over. Some of you got, it looked like he got all the way over, and that's what set him up for here.
Yeah. He got a good turn on
you
that
can
one.
still turn. You can still get here. You get what I'm saying? But you had your hips so much around that you're coming straight down the line. It cheated over about a half a yard. But again, you guys gotta be. We gotta drill this, right? Again, we can only talk so much before it's drill, and it comes. But you gotta come here and you gotta set yourself up for there. I'll take it.
Honestly, man, just out of here, you guys, everybody's got to think that first step is got to make the rest of it as easy as possible. The easiest way to do that is getting distance on that first step. So if I'm going here, I need to be able to drive straight out, okay? Because if I'm driving straight out, now I'm here, okay, now it's much easier to go 1-2. Whereas what's going to happen, we get these shin angles. I think what happened for you, bro, is you just popped up. First step's short. Now you're trying to bound on the second step and not turn on the second step. Does that make sense? One step bound and then half turn, full turn. Punch, 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 punch. There. A little better.
How about you gotta get this around? She's a little bit here.
Yeah.
I also can't tell if that first turn is gonna help with cleats with him.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we'll see it.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure. I'm also thinking just the footwear in general.
That's what I'm saying, because I see him coming up on it especially when you start to stop here. I think if you got cleats when you're stopping here, it's going to be a lot easier than the footwear. Those are unforgiving on here with the platforms. You get what I'm saying? Not to go too deep into metaphor, it's like if you're teaching a 5-year-old how to hit, I got a 5-year-old, right? It's like I'm not trying to get him to like lock down on every single thing, every single time, and then he misses the purpose of the actual action. So what I call them is rhythmic reps. So it's like if I'm here and I'm going 50% or whatever it is, it's like boom, I line up 2-point, 1, 2, bang, 1, 2, bang, right? And then I'm out there and it's like boom, let me hit it again. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us get so locked in on stance, everything right here, and then we don't get the reps in just to get the action. So it's like sometimes I just gotta get here, bang, 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 forgive me my feet, my shoes don't let me turn, but you get what I'm saying? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You get what I'm saying? So it's like line up again, bang, 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 boom, bang, 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 boom, and now I'm out. It's like I hit 3 reps now, I didn't worry about 1 start. Yeah, I'll take it. Eyes. Not bad. You had a little correction, so you had to cheat this way because you're coming straight back. But that's why we do those rhythm reps, walk-through reps. Another thing too, like when you're doing these, like I'm a huge fan of the eyes. So it's like, once I've locked this in, now all of you just got to focus on this. get the eyes here and I promise your body will follow. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you are kind of like, after I made that turn, like what's going on? Like just think after you get those rhythm reps, bang, boom. You get what I'm saying? I'm going right to the destination I want to go to. If you don't tell your eyes where to go, your body's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna know really. You're not gonna set yourself up. Boom. Good.
Yeah, better.
Oh yeah. Let's switch shoes on this turf. I like it, man. I like it. Bang, bang. Better. Good.
Exactement.
Not bad, good
better,
shit.
a little better.
Good eyes too, good eye action. So we can move on from there. I think, look, from first rep compared to those last couple, again, I understand that there's limitations, turf, these shoes, they're not gonna be as best, but you guys get the concept, right? Do you have any questions? Do you not feel comfortable doing that? Or do you guys feel good with what that first original 5.5 was? Like my biggest thing, like I said earlier, is like from a concept standpoint, is like, I want you to have those aha moments. The moment that you have that aha moment and you're just not blindly following us is you're now getting more bought in. And what is creating more buy-in creates more effort. When I understand the concept and I realize like, okay, now all of a sudden you have your own, right, information to choose from, make your own decision, but then you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's my most efficient. Now I can be confident in it. Whereas you ever work with a coach and you're like, at least for me, I'm the type, I wanna know why I'm doing what I'm doing. And when I can see the bigger picture, if I'm building Legos, I can see that picture on the box, I'll be able to build it 10 times better than if I'm just fucking putting together from step one with no big picture. You guys gotta see the big picture, you know what I'm saying? My foot right now is under center of mass, right? So for me to get more aggressive, which you guys can handle, I gotta go outside center of mass. You guys see these wide receivers, right? They like to bang and then come in a different direction, you get what I'm saying? So with us changing directions, I'm not going here and pushing off. I actually wanna use that, push that out to push me in that direction a little bit more. Don't have to do it too aggressive here. I don't want any of you rolling your ankles, all right? Here we go. So set up in the proper angle, shin's already going in that direction. Jog, bang. Not bad. If I'm not mistaken, when I saw his too, I liked his second half of his drill.
So do yourself a favor though, practice good habits. When we're here, we're not looking down here. You will have just finished looking there. So practice good habits, keep your eyes there. As soon as you go, then I'm looking up. Feel, does that make sense? But just practice good habits and keep your eyes down.
Bang, bang, bang. Not bad, not bad. Inside leg turn though. Inside leg did you, but now, I mean, you're DN. So you're comfortable that way. Inside, in fact, that inside leg is probably extremely comfortable turning on it. To make it faster, you want to, and you're embellishing that outside leg. Yeah. So all I need you to do, and that was a good turn too. I wouldn't worry too much about that side of things. I would just, instead of trying to, take the head, but you guys still have to be able to really get into this angle with that outside leg.
So shin angle's got to point you that way, right? So let's bring your feet a little bit closer. Let's bring that right foot closer to the line. And then rather than being like this, I'm like this. Where we want to be is here and here. We don't need to be here though, right? So we're there, then we're sitting down, and then I'm just going to reach. So my shins are pointing me that way, eyes looking that way, and then everything is going to drive me out. So
so when he stops and he gets here, he's a little bit, you're wide.
Yeah.
So you break real hard with the inside, and then you throw this leg pretty wide.
Yeah.
Right when you go to touch this. That's why your leg was going here. This leg had a good shin angle coming back. It's just setting yourself up as if I'm doing it. So even if you got to go a slightly bit wider, he breaks with his inside a little bit lower.
Yeah, that'll be good. And then all we want is that shin, that right shin pointing back this way. Go ahead and reach down, eyes down. Try to get your shoulders a little bit more this way. Yeah, there you go. That's better. There we go. Boom, 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 boom.
That wasn't a bad turn, but you can round that. That's throwing you off a little bit. You see, you came flat. You want to almost like, once I've got around this turn, that's the only thing. You guys did a good job at it. Once I get around this turn, feel free to start accelerating. Bang, bang, bang. You completely slowed down, right? Good turn for a trench guy. Bang, bang, and you got flat. You want to come around now. It's like now it's a powerful bang. Let me get out of here and I'm rounding it, because then you had to round out here. That's what we want to avoid. We want to take that corner and we want to take it here. Boom. Good round. Good finish. That's smooth. I wouldn't touch a thing. All I would want to see is with power behind it. Cleats and power behind it. That's all I want to see. Everything else looked great. Not bad. He stuttered, yeah. You came in a little bit, took this a little bit inside, and then break back. So the only thing is you were just inefficient. I don't want you to take this as out coaching yourself, because again, I hate to use this as that, but with cleats and a little bit of speed and then turning, but you didn't set yourself up. So you came in and you had to take an extra step here and an extra step here. Remember, we want minimal, as efficient motion as we possibly can. That's why, right? If you don't hit your right step and it's not in stride on the inside leg, that's why he has you pushing right when you can to start changing that direction. You get what I'm saying? If not, then you're gonna have to take that extra step to decelerate around it. So I think coming out a little bit wider, taking this approach, and like before you guys go, like just take a peek at where you're going, so you have like a little bit of kinesthetic awareness, right? So it's like, okay, I know where I'm at in space, because you just immediately got down here, you took off, and then you had to correct. So just take a peek at that cone of where you're going, all right? That might correct it. But when you did get here, you took an extra step. That's the only tough part about compartmentalizing these things. You do it to teach it, but in reality, when the body's in motion, right, like you can't fully mimic it, because you're having to decelerate and then accelerate again, and the body changes. So we try to put ourselves in the biggest thing, but once you go produce force from a static position, it's just a little bit different. So just take a peek at where you're going, set yourself up, boom, and then now it's like, I know where I'm headed. Whereas when you're running in space, even though you're coming to this cone, I know back where I just came from.
I think the thing that's gonna help you out is, so when you get set up at the line, I think the thing that's gonna help you out, use this line as a mark. We're not darting for that cone straight away because you have such a good bend, right? So if you were to go and block a field goal or rush from the edge and you're going around the tackle, are you going straight for the tackle or are you going, right? It's that 3-step to get to that marker where both of you are trying to beat each other to. The first step is vertical, then I'm trying to bend. Same shit. This is just a rush. That's all this is, right? So out of there, don't hit me. I'm just gonna stand right here. Go vertical, then start bending it. Go. Boom. Then start bending it. Yeah, that's it. And then your foot was in the right spot the whole time. Go for it. So I'm gonna be right here. Don't run into me. Go vertical and then start dipping that inside shoulder. Boom. Yeah, look how smooth that is. Drive. Look at you. You just do it. Because nobody coached you up on this one, you're just doing it. This is awesome, okay? The only thing I will just say over here, right now what you're doing is you're braking in front of your body. So when you brake, when you put the brakes on, we're going here and then trying to turn the body. And now you're off balance so you can't drive. So when you go in there, be a little bit closer to a receiver. Here, get the shoulders over the center of mass. When that right foot hits the ground, start accelerating. So now I want you to lean, so hands on there, hands on the floor, lean that way. Yeah, that's it, get your shoulder that way too. Good, eyes there, boom, that's it. Punch. Keep driving away.
Good. Not bad. If that wall wasn't there, it's clean rep. I like it.
Hey, hand on the line though, hand on the line.
Hand on the line, take a peek where you're going. Drive, there you go. So you see, shoulders over there. Yeah, that's all, on that brake, yeah. The only thing I might suggest is stay powerful, right? Because like the minute you turn, you wanted to get a little choppy even through here. You know what I mean? Take that 1-2, and that's why it's like even out here, I think you had to take it past here a little bit to redirect. You redirected over here, but then you had to again redirect right here. So be just a little bit more fluid, and like, as opposed to like bang, 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 right? It's bang, bang, bang. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm a little bit longer. Use your length. Use your length. This is all you're operating within. You're not on a whole football field. You know what I'm saying? So when you get out of there, it's also, again, you're gonna have more power because you have a stretch reflex. You guys don't have a stretch shortening cycle. What I mean by that is, here, when you decelerate, it's like a jump. You're not starting your jump from here and jumping up. When you do it live, you're using the down phase. You get what I'm saying? You have that elastic quality. So it's like, when I'm starting from here, right? So you just almost gotta think, I'm gonna take a bigger step out of this. So it's like when I come here, I'm taking a bigger step out of this because I'm getting more juice as opposed to I'm here, bang, bang, bang. That's what you kind of did. You get what I'm saying? You're shorter and choppier, whereas like, let's use that power, that's all.
So vertical and then use your bend. Be a D lineman. There you go.
I like that. I like that.
Hey, good rep. Good break on that last bit, man. Well done.
There you have it, guys. I hope this was extremely fruitful for you. Hey, if you're a coach or an aspiring coach and you want to know a little bit more of the ins and outs of coaching, the how and why of what we do, and just overall become a better coach, I've actually put together a certification. If you're interested in details, you can check out the link down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.